welcome to my YouTube channel. You could be watching any video in the world right now, but you decided to stop right here and join me, and for that I'm extremely grateful and thankful for you. Great day, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia Morgan, and thank you all so much for stopping by. You could be watching any video in the world right now, but you decided to join in with me here, so thank you so much. And today I'm actually going to be talking about casting a vision, because the new year is approaching, right? So we got to talk about vision. So vision is so important, and I love talking about vision. It's probably a little bit of a bad thing because I've been such a daydreamer all my life. Well, not like a bad thing, but if I'm not careful, it can be a bad thing. I've been a daydreamer a lot of my life, and so a lot of times I'll dream, I'll have all these visions, I'll have all these ideas, these goals that I have in mind for myself, but I haven't always put the action behind it that I need to put behind it. And so be intentional with whatever you dream about, with whatever vision that you have. Be intentional. Make sure that you have a practical plan to go after it. Vision is so important because you have to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, how will you know what direction to go in? So it's important that you set those goals for yourself. It could be personal growth, it could be financial, it could be family, it could be career, it could be just knowledge, it could be for school, it could be anything. You have to make those goals. You have to see where you're going. You have to be motivated for what is in your future. God created us to imagine. God created us to see things, to speak things into existence, and for them to come about. And so you have to use that gift that He gave you. The same way that He formed this earth is the same way that you can form your life. But you have to learn to surrender to Him. It's not just about what you want, because your vision is actually not about you. Your vision is about so much bigger. It's about impacting generations to come. It's about impacting your family. It's about impacting your community. It's about impacting those around you that are going to come right behind you. And so you can't just think about yourself. You have to really surrender and say, like, God, what is it that you need me to do? Which is something I didn't used to do. I used to just dream about whatever I was dreaming about, and then I got so frustrated because it wasn't coming about in my timeline. I really had to learn, when I developed my relationship with God, to surrender myself to Him and say, like, what is it, the vision that you have for me? Because I got all these ideas, but a lot of it is selfish, and a lot of it is not, it's not going to really get me what I think it's going to get me. And so I had to surrender that, and I had to give all of my wants and my cares to God and say, what is it that you have for me, that you have for me? And it's so much bigger than anything I could have imagined for myself. And I'm sure He hasn't given me all of it, because it can be overwhelming at times, the things that God has for you. And so it's about saying, like, God, what do you need me to do today? What do you need me to do next week? What do you need me to be faithful in this season? What is it that I need to commit to now? Because if you can't be faithful and committed to what it is that God has for you now, you're not going to be later on down the road. If you can't be content in this season right now with what He's given you and blessed you with to be an overseer of, you're not going to be content later on. So you have to learn, like, what is it that I need to do? And you have to be able to see it so that you can go after it, and you have to go after it full force. And it's not about just letting God do all the work. God needs us to do our part so He can fulfill His part. And when those two things work together, amazing things happen. Promises come about, miracles happen, and lives are impacted like never before. So don't just think your vision is something to do at New Year's and then drop off at the end of the month. No, you have to stay committed. It's not about just a temporary thing. I'm talking about cast a vision for a lifestyle. Cast a vision for what it is that God has for you. Cast a vision for those things that you're embarrassed to tell people about, because it's going to take you someplace, and it's going to take you a place that you cannot do on your own. It's going to take God's intervention to really get you to where you really truly need to be. And don't get frustrated. I found myself lately kind of like frustrated that I wasn't exactly where I desired to be. But God doesn't base himself on our timeline. He's all about timing, and he's about perfect timing. And so we can get caught up sometimes when we cast those visions about what it is that we see for it, but God has something so much bigger. But he needs us to see it so we know exactly the steps that sometimes we don't know exactly the steps we need to take, but we know the direction that we need to head in, and he'll adjust us along the way if we happen to slip up or get distracted. But it's all about continuing to surrender to him. It's all about continuing to say, like, God, what is it that you have for me? And I have to remind myself of Jeremiah 29:11, which is a verse that so many people say. Sometimes I kind of like look over it because I'm so familiar with it, but it's so powerful. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for good and not for evil. Plans to prosper you, to give you a future and a hope." You guys, you can get frustrated if you want to, but God knows what he's doing. Everything is going to work together for your good. All those visions that you have are not for anything. Those visions that God gave you are going to mean so much more, but you got to stay faithful, you got to stay committed, and you got to keep seeing it, you got to believe it, you got to expect it, and you got to move boldly in it. Don't let it die. Don't throw it by the wayside. Don't be passive about it. Go after it, and go after it like never before. Not because somebody said this is your year. No. This is the season to act on those goals. This is the season that you take seriously the vision that God has for you. Not just what you want for your personal gain and your personal self, but what is it that you need to be doing that's going to get you to be exactly who God needs you to be, so you can impact who God needs you to impact. That's what it's all about. It's not about you. You're not casting a vision for yourself. You're casting a vision for something so much greater than you. And I'm so excited for you guys that this is a time that we can really act on those visions. We can act on those dreams. And this is the time just to get better clarity on what it is that God has for us. And so I'm praying for you guys in this new year that you become who it is that God needs you to become to obtain those things that God has for you, because those promises that he gave us are not in vain. They are true and they are coming, but you gotta be safe. You gotta stay faithful, you gotta stay committed, and you gotta see what it is that he needs you to see. So I'm praying for you all. I love you all. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you have that sister that you're thinking about right now, that she kind of had dreams, she used to talk about dreams and she stopped talking about them now, she stopped planning for them now, she's kind of become complacent, please share this with her and let her know that her dreams are not in vain. Her dreams are not to be taken advantage of, to be taken for granted, but that she needs to act on them. She needs to reignite the fire behind that vision, and she needs to go after it this year like never before, because God believes in her, I believe in her, and there's so many more people that are waiting for her to be obedient to that vision. So thank you all again so much for stopping by. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!